Hey there, Leo. Welcome to part 2 of your January 2022 mid-monthly reading, whatever you want to call it. This is part 1 right here. It is linked up in the top comment down below. So if you haven't watched part 1 yet, make sure to check that out. But we're just going to jump right in here and clarify through. In your first row, you have this links card. It says secrets. What do you know? I was talking about in your first row, we were talking about how there is clearly some like hidden or secret information that is coming in for you, and I would pay attention to whatever that information is. Again, I don't think this is like a secret. You know, I think this is just information you have to look for. And I gave an example of that in the first reading, so make sure to watch that. But, you know, again, I feel like there's just information that you know, you're gonna have to look for, plain and simple. That's it. I don't know where I was going with that, Leo. With the Eight of Swords and the Page of Wands, you have the Two of Cups. So Two of Cups is you and your higher self, but could also be love coming in for you. I do feel for those of you that are looking for love, this could be a person who's coming in for you, someone who's very different than your usual type. Again, these two people are meant to look very different. So again, if you're looking for love, it's probably someone who is different than what you are used to, which is probably a good thing. So it could be love. For others, again, you have the Judgment card. You have a lot of this higher self type of energy. Pretty much everyone has this month. I think when we enter into these retrogrades, Venus and Mercury are both retrograde. We have a retrograde heavy year. Mars will be going retrograde as well. When we have these years, which happens about every 2 years, so like every other year basically, is retrograde heavy. Not always true, but for the most part. What I would say is that I think we maybe connect with our higher self more because it's like we're more withdrawn, especially with Venus retrograde. So again, if you're having dreams, if you're having daydreams, if you're kind of getting messages, I would be paying attention to those things. With the Hangman and the Temperance card, you have the Six of Wands, a lot of success coming in for you, and definitely a victory as well. You have the Hangman, and we were talking about you like trying to gather this information in the first reading. Six of Wands, I feel like, is just talking about success in gathering that information. With the King of Pentacles and the Three of Cups, you have the Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords can definitely be lying, cheating, stealing. Again, some of you could be dealing with those situations. Again, this is not drama tarot, right? There are plenty of channels that talk about cheating and all that other stuff, so go watch them. But again, people always ask, this is why I'm saying this, because the Three of Cups is here, and people are always like, is this a third party? I'm like, yeah, it could be, but I don't really talk about those things, right? I'm interested in being successful and not worrying about cheaters. To me, you know, putting a lot of attention on that just attracts more of it into your life. So what I would say here is, yeah, you could be dealing with that situation. Leave, plain and simple, right? But what I would say is that this is coming up in the area of your thoughts. Seven of Swords can just be simply a card of fears, illusions. Well, it's mostly a card of fears. So let go of your fears. But number 2, it's also a card of tactics. It's actually a good card. It's funny that people read this card so negatively because, number 1, it's golden. The golden cards that have like the golden background are meant to be positive in the tarot for the most part. But number 2, it's really a card of tactics. He's tiptoeing away by stealing those swords from the army in the background. It just says that in any area of your life where you are trying to find success, there could be an opportunity for you to do it tactically. There could be an opportunity for you, instead of going head on and, you know, trying to conquer a situation or trying to hit someone with a sword, there's probably a better option. So if you're trying to be successful, or wherever your thoughts of success are, there's probably just a better way to do it. In your middle row, you have this transit card, and it just says the word climate on it. So you could be experiencing a transit at this time in your astrology, but we're always experiencing transits in our astrology, number 1. But number 2, this card says climate. So to me, it's kind of like saying the energy around you is changing, and that's kind of what I feel here. With the Death card and the Eight of Wands in your foundation, you have the Magician. I would be very careful of your words. Almost every single sign has had a message about needing to be very careful of their words and needing to pay attention to the words that they're using. The Magician, he manifests his words very quickly, so I would be careful of the things that you're saying. He's also pointing in this direction here, so again, no stinking thinking. I would focus on the good stuff with the Ten of Pentacles. With the Ace of Swords and the Wheel of Fortune, you have the Six of Swords. This is like moving on to calmer shores. Definitely improvements coming in for you. I kind of felt that. Remember, on the Wheel of Fortune, I was saying it's like you're more going into the center of the wheel where we have better control over our destiny when we're in that position. Six of Swords, same thing. It's kind of like moving on to calmer shores. So clearly an improvement. Two sixes right here. I love two sixes in the tarot, especially right next to each other. To me, two sixes just says you're moving in the right direction. It's kind of like confirmation for your path, your journey, whatever you want to call it. Definitely really good. With the Two Wands and the Knight of Pentacles, you have the Two of Swords. You have the Two of Swords twice. The Two of Swords, sometimes I feel, just says there's another way to look at things. And she has this island behind her. She needs to take her blindfold off, and she needs to see that she could easily get to that island. She could easily go to the other side, and she could reach the new lands. I always talk about this with the Two of Swords. It's like, yeah, the Two of Swords can represent, coming to an agreement, finding a middle ground, or whatever, but those are like the typical meanings of the card. Really, it represents needing to go somewhere else. It says there's a better place. There is like a third place even, which I've talked about a lot, the third place, how I feel like everybody right now thinks things have to be this way or that way, right? Everything is two sides, basically. But really, there's like a better side. There's like a third place, right? We actually hear, there are people who talk about this, like Robert Kiyosaki, for example. He talks about like a quarter. You flip a quarter, it's like a quarter has two sides, but it also has the edge around it. I don't know. I feel like in general, I don't think that's a good necessarily how I see it in my head, but I think that as a society, as a collective, whatever you want to call it, we're moving more towards the edge of the quarter, where it's not, things are no longer going to be this or that. I feel like there's more of this third place energy. It looks better in my head. I think it's better. So that's what I'll say there. In your next row, you have this woman card. It says woman on it. It says dealings or relationship with a woman. Again, in these general readings, I don't attach gender to my cards because there's just too many of you. Some of you could be dealing with a person in your life. And then you have the sun. It says happiness or well-being coming in for you. So I do feel like there is a lot of happiness coming in for you. I do feel like some of you could be dealing with a woman here. You have the Queen of Wands. Could be like an overly confident person. So again, didn't you have the Two of Cups here? Yes, you have the Two of Cups, which can be a card of ego or ego issues. With the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands in the area of your closest relationships, it's like you could be dealing with a person who has a overinflated ego or is coming at you with too much ego. I feel like that sun is just saying, don't let that person, dim your light. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure in your quarter one readings, I was getting this message about like someone trying to dim your light or someone trying to, shrink you down. I would just make sure that doesn't happen, is what I say. And it doesn't have to be a woman. It could be any gender. Like I said, this is a general reading. With the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Swords, you have the Moon. This is in the area of your next few months. The Moon is like a general lack of clarity. Kind of weird because, again, pretty much everyone has... The readings have been shockingly similar at the beginning of this year between sign to sign. Usually readings are not this similar. It's like maybe one or two signs will be similar, but not like every single one. And pretty much every single sign has had something about, entering into a very mysterious time, where, we could be working on things where we don't really know what the outcome is going to be. Sometimes I feel like maybe, because we've had COVID and all this other stuff, I think people are more... It's like, I wouldn't say we're more willing to take a risk, but kind of, I feel like people are kind of like, well, what do I have to lose at this point, right? And so I think sometimes when we get to that point, it's like we're more willing to step into mysteries, to maybe you've always wanted to write a book or start a business or, do anything, get married. Maybe you thought you'd never get married, and maybe now you're like, you know what? Aliens are next, so I might as well get married before we all get beamed up, right? And, I kind of just feel like you're more in that attitude. Probably a good thing. Probably could lead to some adventures. I think, part of me feels like that type of feeling is more being willing to open up to the experience, right? Like I always talk about, just to give you an example, I get recommended, because I have a tarot channel, it's like I get recommended everything that all you people watch. And so I get recommended all of these relationship videos from all these relationship experts, right? And what I'll say about that is most of them, I don't know, I question what they know, period. And I'm talking about all sides here. I get recommended, I've said it before, I get recommended blue pill, red pill, black pill, getting married, don't get married, traditional family, everything you possibly imagine, right? And I've watched them all because I get bored, right? And you know what, I think they're all wrong, is what I would say. And this is a world, maybe it's a world according to me, but I think that there's a lot of fear in the teachings of all these people, no matter what side you're on. And what I would say is like, there are things to fear, like divorce or maybe getting cheated on and all this other stuff. But it's like, I think people are moving. I think this moon card for you, Leo, is talking about just moving more towards the journey, just in saying, you know what? Who cares what the outcome is? That's not even the good part. Like I always tell people, it's like the finish line isn't even the good part. It's like the getting there that is the good part. And I think people are moving more towards that. I would say you are probably one of the leaders in that movement. Like, it's like once, as a person, you, Leo, as a person, once you give permission for yourself to do that, you give permission to everybody else in your life to do it as well. It's like, I think the more we step into that energy, the more people that we get kind of just going on the journeys in life and just seeing where things go and not worrying about the outcome, right? You're giving permission for other people to do that. It's like you're being a leader in that sense. That's kind of how I'm seeing it. Very powerful energy, very weird, but I like it. With the Knight of Wands and the Queen of Wands, you have the Eight of Swords. Definitely need to set yourself free. This is like uninhibited energy. I feel that this is saying you need to be more uninhibited. Queen of Wands, she doesn't really care what people think. She doesn't care. She's the card of being bold, being assertive, going for what she wants. She just does it. And I feel stepping into that will set you free. You have the Eight of Swords twice, self-imposed restriction, so definitely set yourself free. With the Five of Wands and the Three of Swords, you have the Queen of Pentacles. Could be an Earth sign coming in for you if you're looking for love, by the way. But I also feel this is the increase in your resources. So if you are feeling a lack of resources, could be time, money, effort, energy, whatever. This is like an increase in resources. And your last row, we'll go with this one. You have the ninth house. It says exploration on it. There you go. We were talking about this, how some of you could be like exploring, going on adventure, whatever. Really, I feel like you're exploring information, like we said in the first reading. I feel for you, out of all the signs, you are the only sign that gets these messages. I feel like I can't even tell you how successful I feel like you will become because of information. Again, if you don't go looking for it, you're not going to find it. So again, I would go looking for information in any area of your life that you want to improve, or any area of your life where you are stuck. Eight of Swords. It's basically saying there's a lot more out there for you in the world, but you're going to have to go find it. With the Judgment card and the Ten of Pentacles, High Priestess, curveball. Major mystery energy, so I do feel like it's mysterious, but the High Priestess is also the card of potential. It's like, and I feel like you get her a lot in your readings. She has unlimited potential. There's no roof over her head on that card. She can accomplish whatever she wants, but she has to put in the work. So again, I would dig into the mysteries, and I feel like you'll be very successful if you do it. But I like this reading for you, Leo. I feel like there's a lot of good stuff coming in for you for sure. And I would say actually this right here is like the most important part. It struck me when I put that moon down with the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. It really hit me that it's like you are being a leader in the sense that you're giving people, by just existing, you are giving permission for other people to do the same thing that you're going to be doing like right now. So it's really important. I feel like you are definitely one of those signs that is going to be becoming like an example for other people in your life. And it's like you're increasing abundance. I'm not necessarily talking about money. It could be, but pretty much anything for other people just by living your life. Pretty powerful stuff. I like this. So thank you for being here, Leo. Really appreciate it. Make sure to watch your sun, moon, and rising for a full picture of what's going on for you at this time. But thank you, and definitely enjoy your month.